Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Louis Anthony ViVenzio Jr. I was born and raised in Springfield, Massachusetts, and my dad's name was Louis. When I was born, they wanted to call me Louis Jr., so they ended up calling Louis. Called him Louis. My mom's name was Sarah, but everybody called her Sally, and I have a brother named Fran. The reason why I'm doing this, sharing my story and my testimony with you, is I've been sharing this for many, many years in churches and Bible studies and one-on-ones and business organizations, and just sharing my testimony and my story. And a while back, God said to me it was time to put this on a CD, DVD, and get it out to the people, to get out 1 million, and so that's what we are doing, and I'm really excited about sharing my testimony and my story with you. I would like you to really take the time to listen to this all the way through, because I know and I believe without any doubt in my mind that this is a divine appointment for you. You are supposed to be listening to this. Now, if you have friends there, if you want to invite family and friends to listen along, that's great. But I know that whoever listens, there's a purpose and a reason in God's plan for you to hear what it is I have to say. I know it will change your life in some way. It has literally changed thousands of lives, and I know it can touch and change yours. So please bear with me, stay with me, and listen to this. It's just my story and my testimony. As I said, I was born and raised in Springfield, Massachusetts. I went to, when I started, I actually started a little further back. Came from a kind of a low-income family. My dad worked in a factory. My mom stayed home and took care of my brother and I, Fran and I. And we lived in kind of a low-income area. That's how it was, and it was fine. We had, no secondhand clothes and secondhand roller skates and secondhand bicycles and tricycles and whatever. But it never mattered to us. We didn't even have a television. But that's how we lived, and it was great. Mom always had clean clothes for us and good food on the table. So it was a good life. And when I was 7, I ended up getting rheumatic fever. It's a real painful in your joints where you can't really walk and you can't hardly put a sheet on. I remember I could hardly put a sheet on my foot or my knee, and excruciating. I was in bed for 3 years. Mom took care of me, and I had a tutor so I wouldn't miss too much of school, although I wasn't ever really that interested even at that age in school, but I had a tutor. And that's how that went. When I finished that, of course, I went back to school and entered into my teen years. At that point in time, my parents ended up getting divorced, which was very difficult for me because as a teenager, I wasn't expecting that to happen in our family. It didn't. I mean, I was young, so I wouldn't know what was going on anyhow. But so my parents were divorced, and I became kind of rebellious as a teenager, I think, because of it. And my brother did much better than I did. Fran was, I guess, more stable or something. But he seemed like, at least it seemed that looking back that he did better than I did. But I didn't do very well through those times. Went to high school in Springfield, Commerce High School. Graduated from Commerce High School, and didn't want to go to college. That really wasn't for me. I wasn't really a college kind of person. I was much more creative. Thought about acting and singing and Broadway. And at one time, actually, I was brought up Catholic. And at one time, I even thought about being a priest because I was an altar boy for a number of years. And I even thought about that. But I was brought up Catholic and, just your basic American family, I guess you might say. Well, when I graduated from high school, I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. And I stopped going to church because there was really nothing for young people in church. So here I'm graduating from high school, don't really go to church anymore, nothing there for me. What am I going to do with the rest of my life? And I always wanted to be, for some unknown reason, I always wanted to be kind of famous and rich, rich and famous. Maybe because I heard it, read it, saw it, whatever, in Hollywood, and I just kind of liked all that kind of stuff. And I said, I need to be rich and famous. That's going to be my goal. I have nothing else to do, and that's what I'm going to do. I don't know how, though. I don't have an avenue. I didn't know how I would do that. And my mom became a hairdresser, had a little beauty salon in our home, and I used to sweep the floor for her and wash the floor for her. And I knew all of her customers. I mean, they were all my mom's age, so I had a bunch of mothers, and felt very comfortable in that environment. Felt very comfortable around women. because I was around it all the time. And one day my mom said to me, Louis, why don't you become a hairdresser? And I thought, I don't think so, Mom. She said, well, why don't you come to a hair convention this weekend. There's one coming up, and you see what the other side of it's like. I said, okay, well, why not? I have nothing to lose. So I go to this hair convention, and I walk in, and there's like, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 people in the audience. It's like, wow, okay, this looks like part of the plan. And then they bring out this guy on stage, and they introduce him like the star of the show, and a big round of applause. And I'm just looking and taking this all in and going, this is very interesting. Now, could this be the fame and fortune I've been looking for? Well, anyway, when the show was over, I said, Mom, what was that guy on stage? What did I call him? And she said, those are called platform artists or educators. And I said, well, do they make money? Oh, she goes, oh, they make a lot of money. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of hairdressers in America, and there's only about 500 platform artists. It's kind of like becoming a celebrity or a star or a sports star or a movie star. It's a very small amount of people actually ever get to that level or that plateau. And I said, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a rich and famous platform artist, and I'm going to go to hairdressing school. And she just kind of said, well, that would be good. That would be very good. Don't get your hopes up on becoming a platform artist, because that's like, 1% of the whole community industry. I said, Mom, it's going to happen. Believe me, I'm going to become a rich and famous platform artist. Went to school, graduated, and worked for my mom for a while. And of course, after a while, she got tired of me being around. I was trying to show her how to do new things, and she's been doing the same thing for years and was one of the best hairdressers in Springfield. In fact, one of the best hairdressers in Massachusetts. And so she said, I think you need to find a job and go work for someone else, which I did. And did that for a while. I didn't like that. And I decided, it was time to open up my own salon. So I found a little old place, little location, and opened up a little beauty salon. My first one, the rent was $125. And then I opened another one in downtown Springfield. So I had 2 salons going, but my goal was, and in the meantime, my goal was, of course, to be a platform artist. Well, how do you do that? I know that I had to go to conventions. So I was going to these hair conventions, anything within a couple of 100 miles of my home. I would drive there. The conventions are Sundays and Mondays. So I'd finish work on Saturday, drive down to wherever the convention was, and I would meet platform artists. I'd meet the vice presidents or the VPs, whoever was running the particular shows, or different companies like Clairol, Revlon, L'Oreal, Firmidel, Sassoon, Wella, Sebastian. I mean, you name it. I was talking to everybody I could to find out, how do I become a platform artist? Like, what do I do? What do I do? And they would all say the same thing. Well, the first question they'd always ask me is, Louis Anthony, that was my professional name, Louis Anthony. And that was also the name of my salons, Louis Anthony Hair Designers. How long have you been doing hair? Oh, a couple of years. Well, come back in about 10 or 12 years when you have experience. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not waiting no 10 or 12 years. I can do this now. And they would, same answer from everyone, whether it be a platform artist or whether it be one of the VPs from one of the major manufacturers. One day I met this guy named Leonard from Clairol. And Leonard and I seemed to hit it off. And he sat me down at the convention on a lunch break and said, here's the deal. Nobody knows who you are. So myself or any other company is not going to hire you to be a platform artist. You're a nobody at this point. You have to start competing in competitions, state competitions, and you have to win. You can't come back and tell me you play second or third.